Hey y'all, welcome back to TXC Tells All, or if it's your first time tuning in, welcome to TXC. We talk about everything on this channel from real estate investments to our lives as attorneys. Both me and Larita are attorneys, so we talk about that journey and we just talk about life stuff. But today I'm going to be talking to my law school students or law school graduates, and I want to discuss how do you pick what practice area you're going to choose after you graduate law school. So I am an employment lawyer, so I'll probably be talking a lot about that. If you are an employment lawyer, please comment in the comment section, reach out to me. I would be happy to talk to you and tell you how I picked employment law and just answer some of your questions. I know it's really hard sometimes as a law student or a recent law school graduate to find mentors and to find people that are out in the field practicing attorneys that you can talk to. So I mean that. If you have questions, hit me up in the comment section and I'll be happy to get back to you. Stay tuned. I'm going to give you some real life tips that I used and things that you can do to kind of narrow down what practice area you want to choose, where you want to go with your law school career, your law career after you graduate law school. So make sure you watch till the end. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button. We post new videos every single week about all sorts of different topics. So make sure you tune in and check us out. Okay, so you're in law school and everybody's asking you, well, what type of law do you want to practice? And you have no idea. You're just going through the classes, you're trying to get your cases briefed and you're trying to make sure you pass. And you're like, I know I need to think about it now, but I can't. I don't know where to start. So I would say, do some research about different firms and in the area that you go to law school and what practice areas they have. It's a really basic thing. Of course, every law firm that you now has a website. So I would go and search different law firms. Maybe you can start with ones that your colleagues have interned at and see what different areas of law those firms offer and see what the descriptions are. Narrow it down from there. So I would say start with some of the larger firms because obviously they would have more practice areas than some of the smaller firms and see what the descriptions are, see what they are saying that those practice areas offer. So I think that's a great place to start because each website is obviously going to be trying to get clients. So if you look at a website and let's say, for example, they have the practice area of employment discrimination, which is what I do, they're going to be saying what types of law fall under employment discrimination and what they offer to their clients. So that gives you a really good idea of if you were a practicing attorney at that firm in that practice area, what type of law would you be practicing, what cases would you be taking, and what services would you be providing to your clients. So for example, employment discrimination can stem from a pregnancy discrimination case where somebody gets wrongfully terminated from their job because they're pregnant, all the way to contract review because you're reviewing a non-competition agreement where a company might have an employee sign a non-compete, which means that if they leave the company within a certain period of time, they can't work for another competing business in that same industry for a certain period of time in a certain area. So it ranges from civil litigation all the way to contract review. And you may not have known that, but if you read an employment discrimination law's website, you would see that they offer those services, and that would give you an idea of what it means to be an employment discrimination lawyer, just to start. So I think that applies to every practice area. If you don't know what type of law you want to practice, start by looking at the firms that are in the area of your law school and see what practice areas they offer, and then look at the descriptions of each of those practice areas so you can get an idea. I'm going to tell you next why I say start with the firms in the area that your law school is in. So make sure you watch for the next tip. Okay, so I said to look at the websites of firms in the area that your law school is located because picking a practice area after law school starts with the internships that you do while you're in law school. And obviously, if you are in a certain area, it is easiest to do the internships in that area. I mean, now dealing with COVID and all the virtual things that we've been doing, I mean, I can tell you I do most of my depositions and court appearances through Zoom now. But for an internship, I think you would still be going into the office for the most part. So I said, look at the law firms in the area of your law school, so that when you find a practice area that actually interests you, then you can take the next step of looking into whether they have any internships available for law school students. I'll tell you my experience. I actually started interning for law firms when I was an undergrad. So if there's any undergraduates looking at this video planning on going to law school, this can apply to you too. When I was an undergrad, I went to Seton Hall University in New Jersey. I actually did an internship at the Cochran firm. As an undergrad student, I was a junior, going into my senior year, so junior year summer in undergrad, and I did an internship for that summer at the Cochran firm. I actually was interviewed by an employment lawyer. Her name was Tracy as well, just a coincidence. But anyway, I got an opportunity to work with lawyers at the Cochran firm that were doing personal injury, and lawyers that were doing employment discrimination and employment class action lawsuits. So that was an opportunity for me, even before I got to law school, to see how the inner workings of a civil litigation firm worked, and it was really an invaluable experience. So I would say step one, do some research from behind your computer. Look at the websites of different law firms and the practice areas that they offer so you can get more familiar with what's out there. And then two, now narrow it down and start looking for which of those firms offer internships in the practice areas that you may be interested in. Internships are invaluable experiences. I think if I would not have done internships while I was an undergrad and also while I was in law school, I wouldn't have been able to kind of hit the ground running when I got my first job as an attorney practicing in the law firm. So to my next point, third point, don't be afraid to reach out to attorneys that you might find on LinkedIn or you might meet in passing. Reach out to them, ask them if they would be willing to do kind of like an informational interview with you, or even just go out to lunch with you and kind of tell you what they do, how they like their job, what's their practice area, and just talk to you. Like I said in the beginning of this video, if you have interest in being an employment lawyer, please comment in the comment section below. I would be happy to talk to you kind of about my experiences and just give you some idea of what it looks like to be a civil litigation lawyer in employment discrimination. But I think the same goes for other attorneys out there that you may meet or that you may see online, especially as a law student. You'll be surprised. Lawyers a lot of times are open to talking to you if you are a law student, and it might not be taking you out to lunch. And no, things, of course, get really busy for attorneys, and with COVID and everything going on right now, may not want to do that. But a phone call, I'm telling you, you'll be surprised about how many attorneys, if you reach out to them and say, hey, I'm a law student and I'm interested in personal injury, and I saw your website and that your firm is very successful in that area. Do you have 15 minutes just to talk to me about how you got into that field, and if you've practiced in any other areas? And of course, be ready for the call, be ready for the interview, or be ready for the lunch date, whatever it might be. Have your questions ready, have all the things that you might want to know and you may want to ask them ready. But I think that is also invaluable. So you have research online of different practice areas so you can actually know what's out there and what those practice areas actually do. 2, internships. Seek out internships at the firms that offer the practice areas that you're interested in. And 3, reach out to attorneys and try to form mentorship relationships, even if they are virtual. Even if you say, I talked to 3 different attorneys and it was just a 15-minute phone call each at 3 different law firms. It didn't turn into an internship or any kind of opportunity, but they were willing to talk to me. And from each of those 3 attorneys, I learned something different about the practice area. I know more than I knew when I started, and I kind of know more of where I want to go and what practice area I want to do. That's invaluable. I mean, that could end up being the practice area that you're in, and you're like, hey, I had this 15-minute phone call with this attorney. It sounded really interesting. I decided to try it with the internship, and now that's the practice area that I work in as a practicing attorney after you pass the bar. So picking a practice area is really, really important. I know some people do multiple practice areas, and there are solo practitioners and other practitioners that don't just practice one area. So of course, if that's something also that you're interested in, practicing in more than one area, definitely talk to a lawyer that does that. Mostly, I will say solos, a lot of times that have solo practitioners offer more than one area of law. Not all, but a lot of them do offer more than one area of law. So if you're watching this video thinking, I don't really you think I just want to stick to just employment law, just family law, just personal injury, there are lawyers out there that do multiple different areas. So same thing, research the websites, see what lawyers offer more than one practice area, and then try to seek internships in a firm where you'll be able to put your hands on different practice areas at one time. For somebody who can't decide what practice area they want to be in, that might be the best bet, because then you get to be at a firm where you're exposed to everything. So if you're planning on interning somewhere and you're still really not sure what practice area you want to do, then I would suggest interning at a law firm where you will be able to practice or you'll be able to participate in the practice of many different areas of law. Again, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. I plan on doing more videos giving advice to law students about picking practice areas and just the journey from law school to becoming an actual practicing attorney. We know law school, we're there to learn the law, and I'll talk about that in another video, but what does it mean to actually practice and make that transition to practicing law? I think it's important for us to talk about that as practicing attorneys and, try to help upcoming law students, soon to be attorneys, kind of navigate that transition and then, working as a practicing attorney. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And again, I really mean this. If you are interested in becoming an employment lawyer and you have some questions, please leave your information in the comment section below, or just comment and say, I would love an opportunity to talk with you. I would be happy to do that. I really, really mean that. So if there's any inspiring employment discrimination lawyers watching this, please comment below, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Thanks for watching. TXC Tells All.